We're out in the beautiful outdoors. We're doing a little bit of rough-tailed grouse hunting today, and we were able to get our last bird, giving us a limit of 5, as well as a bonus migratory woodcock. They're extremely fast. This is my second one ever, so I'm pretty proud of that. Good size, and they're very unique with this long beard. It's like 3.5 inches long. Very unique bird, extremely fast, and they are delicious. So we got a beautiful limit of rough-tailed grouse, some nice looking birds. Really nice. This one here, pretty big. Great looking birds. Great eating. Look at that. That's just a gorgeous bird. We shot one in the fly, one in a tree, and the rest on the ground. That's actually a really big one. Yeah, that's a really big one right there. Yeah, that's a nice mature couple-year-old rough-tailed grouse right there. That's a mounter. I already got a couple mounted, so, and he's pretty banged up. But yeah, that's a beautiful specimen of a rough-tailed grouse here in Northern Ontario. And I want to talk a little bit about the load that I use. You got a lot of people using different loads. 3-inch. These are 2 3/4. You got 6-shot, 7-shot, 4-shot, 9-shot. You got 1 ounce. You got 7/8. You got 3/4. And I want to talk a little bit about the load that I use and the gun, specifically a shotgun that I prefer to use and why I prefer to use it. So starting with the load, we're shooting a 20 gauge shotgun. 2 3/4 is all you need. 3 inches just straight overkill. 1 ounce load. I like the 1 ounce load because it just gives you a little bit more pellets. And 6-shot is the perfect, I believe, the perfect shot size you can buy. You can get 5s, they're hard to find. 4s are a little bit too big. 2s are way too big. 7.5s a little bit small. 8s, 9s, you know, etc. They're just too small. So being a 6-shot, 1 ounce gives you the right, gives you the right amount of pellets and the right size of pellet. And specifically why I go with a 20 gauge is there's a few reasons why. Number one, the ammunition is cheap. Just like a 12 gauge, 20 gauge, you can find them anywhere. 410s, 28s, 16s, up here in Northern Ontario, Canada, they're very hard to find and they're very expensive. 410s are coming back now, but I stopped using a 410 a long time ago, specifically because of the load and the power of a 410. Now, if you're walking all day in the bush, you can put a whole box of 410s in your pocket, you're good to go if you're doing a lot of walking. But if you're in pretty good shape and you can handle it, a 20 gauge isn't that much heavier than a 410. The ammo's a little bit heavier, maybe about 1.5 boxes, maybe 2 boxes. I have to weigh them, but a box of 20 gauge is probably about 1.5 boxes of 410. So they are a little bit more heavy, but it's not going to be anything that's gonna, you know, kill you. You got 20 gauges on you. That's tons. You're only allowed 5 birds, 5 woodcocks, maybe some rabbits. You got 20 rounds on you. You're going to be good to go. So the reason why I'm shooting a 20 gauge is specifically for flying targets. When you're hunting with a 20 gauge over a 410, you're going to get those flying targets 99% of the time. You got more pellets, more power, more bang for the buck. It's just going to do the job that much better, and they're cheaper than 410s. So if you're not specifically walking, or you're a smaller person, or you know, you want a small, light little gun, you know, this is probably weighs about 1 pound heavier. It is a 28-inch barrel, so you could probably get one with a 24 or a 21, something lighter, and knock off a few pounds. This is a semi, so it has a lot of moving parts. You could get a single shot break action 20 gauge with a 24 or 21-inch barrel. You could put improved modified or full choke in it, and you're gonna lighten the load. But this is a 28-inch 20 gauge semi-automatic Beretta. This is the Upland A400, and I absolutely love it. It's a piece of artwork. If you see all the engraving on the receiver, on the front and the back on the nickel receiver. Yes, we all know Beretta, made in Italy, and I run it. It came with 5 chokes, your cylinder, your improved cylinder, your modified, your improved modified, your full. And the best choke to run on this gun, I believe, with the 28-inch barrel is going to be your modified. You got the range because you have a 28-inch barrel. I've taken grouse at 20, 25 yards. And that's another thing why I love shooting the 20 gauge with a 28 or a 26. I do have another Beretta double barrel 26-inch. And the reason why I like the 20 gauge, with the Beretta double barrel, it's nice because you can have full choke and modified, so you can really reach out there if you have to. So I keep it on full choke for those far birds, maybe those birds on the ground, you want to get a headshot. And then I use the modified when I'm walking through the bush. If I flush one, I got modified. It's going to give me a wider spread, and you're going to have a better chance of hitting the bird without destroying it. If it flushes, you know, maybe your shot's not bang on, hard to shoot them in the head, you're going to blow them up if they're close and you got full choke on. So modified is the best choke, I believe, for all ranges. If you're close, I just shoot a little bit high. I literally aim at the tip of the bird's head and I get them every time. If they're extremely far, I cover the whole body, because at that range, when you're looking through the bead, you can't really see the head. You're pretty much covering the whole body. They're bobbing. I pretty much aim right at the whole bird and I get them every time, right out to 20, 25 yards. So that's why I believe the 20 gauge is the best. You got that shooting birds when they're flying. You're gonna have the knockdown power because you're shooting a 20 gauge over a 410, 28, 16. They're expensive. Doesn't make a big difference, I believe. And a 12 gauge is just unnecessary. You see a lot of people hunting grouse and woodcocks with a 12 gauge. They're heavy for walking. Now, if you can muscle it, you know, all the best. But I believe if we're talking about the overall best shotgun for bird, rabbit, upland game, animals, pheasants, it's going to be the 20 gauge with a 28-inch barrel, semi-automatic, modified choke, 1 ounce shot, 1 ounce load with 6 shot. You're going to get everything. It's going to be very rare if you're practicing that you're going to miss a bird. If you're getting your practice in and you got a good eye and you know what you're doing behind the gun, you got some rounds behind you from practicing at the skeet range or at the club, you're gonna get the birds, hands down. You got the knockdown power to cut through that brush. Up here in the north, we have tons of brush. You can see behind me lots of these low cedars, tag alters. We got over here some little spruce, balsams and stuff like that. They're really thick, they're really dense. When you're shooting a 6-shot pellet, it's a good sized pellet, 1 ounce, lots of load. And if you're within 15 yards, it's just gonna go in there and cut things down. I got some videos on the Tacticam where there's some grouse way in the brush and I can see them bobbing. And as long as you got a little bit of an opening between 2 sticks or 2 brush, or even if they're behind some light tag alters or leaves, you send that shot in there, you're gonna cut the branch down and get the bird. I've done it, and that's why I choose the 20 gauge specifically. Obviously a Beretta, #1 shotgun in the whole entire world, on the whole planet. Others might disagree, but whether you live in Italy, you live in the United States, or you live here in Canada, we all know Beretta is #1. You obviously have the 3 Bs that we always talk about: Beretta, Benelli, and Browning. But Beretta and Benelli, they're both Italian, and I believe Browning is Japanese. Some stuff's made in America or overseas, but you got 2 Italian brand shotguns playing for first place. Specifically, the Beretta is my go-to, and it's not just a great shotgun that works, that's flawless, that operates without any issues, but the engraving, it's literally a piece of artwork. You got a grouse, you got the Beretta logo, another grouse flying, Upland A400, another grouse. They cut some grass in there. On the back side, you have 3 pheasants, 2 flushing, a little bit of grass, A400 Upland 20 gauge, made in Italy. And then you got 1 grouse in the grass there, nickel receiver. It's just beautiful. You got the kickoff because it is a A400, so you have the shock in the back if you need it, which makes this gun an absolute dream to shoot. an absolute dream. I've added the next shot little ammo carrier there, 3 shots. Your gun can only take 3 for hunting, 1 up top, 2 in the bottom. You got your next shot right there, so when I pull the gun out of the gun safe or out of the back of the truck, you got your first 3 shots that are going to go into the gun. You don't got to worry about grabbing any ammo or having it in your pocket or anything like that. You got your first 3 shots, and you know, you're able to get that 1 or 2 birds that might be on the road that you encounter. Your safety's right there. Red is dead, safe, fire. Beautiful, nice finger safety there. Snap it, move your finger back. I don't really like the back safeties or the top one. You have your hand like this in the bush. You snap that, bang, bang, bang. You know, it locks to the rear, lock it to the back. It has your optional rail mount, so you can mount a scope on there if you ever wanted to mount a scope. You know, you got the beautiful wood. I'm not too sure what it's made out of. Maybe a walnut or a hickory. I'm not too sure. But you got this beautiful, beautiful wood with a beautiful grain in it. Nickel receiver. 28-inch high rib barrel. It's probably like a medium rib barrel. 2 3/4 and 3-inch chamber. So this is my setup for the past few years. Upland game hunting, whether it's rabbits, grouse, woodcocks. You can even take this duck hunting, goose hunting with 3-inch Magnum steels at moderate range, 20, 25, 30 yards. You're going to still, with the modified barrel, modified choke, sorry, you're still going to be able to get those waterfowl birds down on the ground without any issues. Beautiful gun for teals, smaller waterfowl. And if you really wanted to, which you can absolutely with no issue, you can go turkey hunting with this. You pop in that full choke, you put a nice big 3-inch Magnum turkey load in here, and you will easily harvest a turkey with this shotgun. So this is the one and done shotgun Beretta A400 Upland. It's a work of art. It's an absolutely a beast of a shotgun, and it's worth every single penny. MSRP is around that $2,000 mark. You're about $220. I don't know what they're going for right now. I've had this gun for about 5 years. I paid about $2,000 plus taxes, 13% here in Ontario. You're probably looking at around $2,200 out the door. Comes in a beautiful beautiful case. It comes apart very nicely. You spin that off, comes apart, barrel comes out, and it goes in the case. So it comes in a very nice hard case for transportation, the gun, 5 chokes, a lock, some cleaning stuff, and then your owner's manual and whatnot. Beautiful shotgun. I would definitely recommend this shotgun for upland game hunting or any game you can possibly think of. You want to go harvest a white-tailed deer or a black bear, you put a 3-inch slug in here, maybe cylinder or open cylinder, improved cylinder or cylinder. You put a slug in here, you're going to shoot a white-tailed deer or a black bear, possibly even a moose. I'm not too sure if you're allowed to use 20 gauge for moose, but if you are within 50 yards with a nice 3-inch slug, you'll probably get a moose with this thing too, with the right shot broadside. You're definitely going to get a white-tailed deer within 50. You're definitely going to get a black bear within 50. Probably not the best choice, but this is definitely a one-and-done shotgun. If you're in the market for a brand new shotgun, I would highly, highly suggest looking at the Beretta A400 Upland the next time you are looking for a new shotgun. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you got a little bit out of it. If you see anything in this video that you might want some clarification, whether it's the ammunition, we're using the Federal high brass heavy field load right there. It's got the high brass number 6. I like the high brass because it doesn't jam in the gun and it has that extra little oomph. If you see anything in this video that you want some clarification, whether it's a shotgun or upland game hunting or anything whatsoever, comment down below. Please give me a like and a follow, and I'll see you in the next video.